All right, guys, we got just a couple of minutes left. A few minutes left. So there. Oh, sorry, yes, sir. Oh, perfect. Those things fall off. That's the downside there. I do want to get to the title of it, and we will. But a couple of things just jogged my memory a second ago. Let's start with what new platforms or softwares that you're using the most, that you have been the most impressed with, things else. So for instance, starting out, these little Rode Pro mics, if you get your hands on these, man, they're fantastic. They're super portable. They charge in the case, and they plug in. They have an adapter for your cell phone. You can record directly to your cell phone, your laptop, or a camera. I use these all the time. We live stream. We have all of our equipment and stuff set up. We have mounted PTZ cameras. We have a cinema camera in the auditorium. And we started using the cinema camera during COVID for live stream, pre-recorded worship. But we started implementing into our live stream so that you could get a closer, we talked about a closer proximity. It's a very different experience online. All of our people at home and our elders were like, oh, we want that zoomed in look that we had during COVID. Like, well, our preacher was sitting in a chair looking only at the camera. We can't recreate that part of it. But anyway, we got to the point where that's the only place we could live stream. Well, I don't know how you guys feel, but the auditorium Bible class is not the most ideal engaging environment for an online audience. That's usually a lecture with zero engagement in the room, let alone online. So I really wanted to move that out of the classroom, didn't want to be restricted by geography. And so what we are doing is we now have these Rode mics that we use in a classroom, and we have kind of like the setup we have here. We have a little Sony camera. We plug directly into that, and it's great. It has two microphones that come with it that can be recorded at the same time into one audio input. So we have a couple of guys that teach together at the same time. They just kind of feed off each other, and it's a super easy way to record that. We have two preachers, so when they do like a sermon bumper or something like that, I can record. They both have a microphone. I don't have to worry about multiple XLR inputs, any of that stuff. So that's been a game changer for us. Blaine, we've talked a lot about sermon shots. For folks that don't know, would you mind explaining a little bit about that? And then from here, whoever has an idea, thought, or something.
Just give me the name brand of that.
So Rode, R-O-D-E. Rode. This one is the Pro, Video Pro, I think. That's right. Rode Wireless Pro.
And there's a whole suite.
Anything Rode, just got your text.
Rode is great.
I'm in here.
DJI makes some of those as well, but there's some other brands that are doing really good ones. There's little disc ones now that are
Those are
cheaper.
cool. It just looks like a little button, and it's like a magnet that you put on your shirt, and it's a microphone.
Yeah,
I just saw those last week.
Little dot.
What is it?
Yeah, little dots.
Yeah.
I forget
Dot
the name
microphone?
of those. They're
Just-
they got a yellow case or something with them. I can't remember. What
Yeah, I just saw them last week.
Newer.
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 Well,
Newer.
Newer makes a ton of stuff. The one I saw wasn't newer brand, but
They sell the newer dot mics on TikTok shop.
oh, cool.
I see them all the time.
Cool. Yeah, they've become real popular, and it looks like a little dot. You know, it's not doesn't look like a microphone, which is kind of cool.
Almost like a little lapel button or something.
It's been mentioned quite a bit, but Sermon Shots is a really helpful tool. Like there are others that do similar things, but I have just found that one, albeit kind of glitchy at times, is really good. It's worth doing a trial with them. You can feed it everything from Vimeo, YouTube links, your own upload, everything, and it'll find snippets. It can even create discussion guides from it, etc. But one little other thing, and I know Jason and I just briefly talked about this, if you have either locations in your congregation that aren't being utilized for like something like digital signage for TVs, or even we have it integrated into our even live stream system and stuff, we're utilizing these little players in a software called Yodeck, which is like a digital signage software. They just started an integration with Canva. So all I have to do is tell my teammates, like, hey, anything you put in this Canva file will get automatically scrolled through on slides and things like that. We're actually piloting 2 of our Bible classes right now where they have access to scrolling slides before their Bible class starts, where like I have control over certain things like engaging the church even once they're in Bible class. They put their own class events on there, and then like during Bible class it just switches like to our mission statement. It has a clock in the corner, but we're doing that in a couple classes. But that's kind of more of a hardware software mix, but that's been super useful for us. So
How does that work on screen, Blaine? Like if I've got a TV in a lobby, how does that work?
Yeah, so they actually all runs off of Raspberry Pis. You can
Nice.
use different systems, everything from Kindle Fires and stuff. I don't know if it has every feature on those, but the reason I use the Raspberry Pis is most modern TVs in the last 10 years have an ARC HDMI input. It will automatically turn off and on the TV for you. You don't have to touch it. So our old signage system was like very manual. This is totally hands off once you set the schedule, and it runs perfectly. It runs off of wireless
You can
or a
run
wired
each
connection.
device,
So, oh yeah,
and you
yeah.
can tell what every. Oh,
Yes, yeah, it's worth checking into.
That's
It's
so
Yo
much to
Deck. So
I've
spelled like
got
it
so
sounds.
much to do
So,
when I get home.
yeah, so
Yes, sir.
I've seen churches that, for YouTube purposes, they have the song leader, but they also have a microphone that faces everyone else in the pews too, so that way you can have the fellowship type feeling. If you can't, do you recommend doing something like that?
100%. Because otherwise you get a solo when you're watching online. We have a couple of microphones behind what I call our Fraggle Rocks. It's a couple of fake ferns. So there's microphones pointing that way. And we actually have some that are a little more subtle up front, but those up front get like the first 2 rows really, really aggressively. So I would say high and point it out. You get as much as you can. And then we have on our board, it's really been simplified for our volunteers. So you press one button and it adds the auditorium singing. You press that button again, it turns that off. So the song leader stays consistent, so they're still a little bit more prominent, but we've mixed it to where the auditorium singing is there. And when you watch it on like live stream, it changes the experience completely. You know, during COVID, we did that week in, week out, and if you turn it up, then you heard the auditorium singing. And to me, that was a game changer as far as the connectedness of being in another location, but feeling like you're there, especially if you're watching it on a bigger screen, not just your mobile device. So, I would highly recommend that.
So you don't use choir mics like drop down from the ceiling. You have them at the front of the building.
We have them at they are choir mics, but well, not choir. No, they're large boom types. What do they call those?
shotgun mic.
Shotgun, solenoid or
Yeah,
whatever.
those would be like wide diaphragm.
Yeah. So we have them from the front too, and they may have put some in the back. I can't remember, but
We've thought about putting in like the drop down ceiling
Yeah,
mics,
yeah.
but the cost is so
yeah.
expensive to run all the wires all the way back there.
Yeah. Well,
Versus
partner, one
if
of
I did it at
those-
the front, it's right there beside
our
the-
ceiling's like 30, 40 feet high as well.
Yeah.
So that
They wouldn't
this
get
is
it,
adequate. Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is those shotgun mics. We were just talking about this. You can run them wirelessly with these units, and they're pretty affordable. Like you can just put that in the corner of the front of your auditorium.
As you can tell, pretty much all of our sound system is wireless.
Yeah.
All of our mics
Yeah,
are wireless.
no, it's fantastic.
We have a wireless boundary mic on the pulpit right now, and it picks up some of the singing, but not
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
I want to drown out our song leader.
Ours has been really good. Yeah.
One other tool I like to plug every now and then, but the live stream, of course, is extremely helpful and important, and I think in most cases necessary. But we've utilized something since COVID called PhoneLiveStream. We have a lot of people in nursing homes or actually in more remote areas who don't have access to internet, or quite frankly just don't know how to use it. But this system actually allows us to send our live stream audio to an actual phone system, so people can actually just call in to a number on a landline or anything. Or it's automated where every time we go live, they get a call. And that's been a helpful thing for us as well. But
What's that called?
PhoneLiveStream, it's a very original name.
Tell me what you are. Okay.
Yeah, hey, do you know what they do? from
Clarity.
me?
That's right.
It's not like some weird Greek word. Trying to say we're members of the church.
We'll get to social platforms later.
No comment on that. No.
All right. What else?
This
Right.
isn't really the most elaborate thing. This is going to sound extremely low tech by comparison, but we have just this basic form on our website that anybody could reach out to us through. And you'd be surprised, people all over the world have actually contacted us from India and all these other places telling us about the work that's going on wherever they are. We had a guy locally reach out through the website, through that form, just saying, hey, I think I know I need to be baptized. Can I come get baptized today? And I responded back to him right away, sure, yeah, that'd be great. And sure enough, he came that afternoon and I baptized him. I know that sounds like That's like one of the most unlikely circumstances.
It's incredible.
It's not
Um,
though. There's a lot of people, I get messages all the time of like, hey, I want to be baptized.
Yeah.
How do I do it? I'm like, tell me where you are and I will find a preacher to
Right.
baptize you right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like, you know, not everybody has social media. Not everybody's on YouTube or TikTok or whatever it may be. But most people, if you're on the internet at all, you know how to get to Google, and you know how to find a website. And so a lot of times the church website's the first thing you see, whether or not you go to any kind of social media presence for a church or whatever. So a website is, I know it's very simple just to have that form on there, and with Wix they kind of automate all that. In fact, it kind of came bundled with the template I picked out, and so I sort of took it for granted. But then we kept getting all these different responses from people, and so like I said, I know it's very basic, but it's a very useful tool.
I kind of had the predisposition, and just being honest, it was a terrible idea. I only saw Schedule a Visit with Us on non-church websites for the longest time. And then Blaine did it, and I thought, well, if they can be liberal, then, you know. When I saw that, you know, that's
That sounds
when
like a
somebody-
trip to Disney to me.
It's, really,
That's
well, it's
why
one of
I-
those things when somebody you know does, it's like, well, actually, maybe that is a good idea.
Yeah.
And it was very simple. It was silly to think that that was a theological issue. at all.
90% of the people who do it are not associated with Churches of Christ.
Exactly, and
It's
we've
their
had
step.
several that have done that, and we've had 4 now that have done. I want a Bible study as well.
Yeah, and we have that
similar
form, too.
So just making that accessible on your homepage.
We have
helps,
that,
so,
and we have prayer requests, Bible study prayer requests, and then we just have a general form too.
yeah, it's great.
So,
Mm.
yeah.
Eli's coming. Yep.
This is a very off the wall question, I think. But do you know of like an app or a website or something that takes like an audio file or something like that and puts it into a script form? And the reason I ask is because
Yeah, Descript.
there is,
Yep.
what's it called, Descript?
There's a bunch.
Descript? Okay.
Um,
Well, I ask because me personally, I don't know. I think there's not a ton of really in-depth content out there from the Churches of Christ. And like our Sunday morning Bible classes are a lot deeper. And like you were saying, they're not a great spot for like evangelism, like or visitors or stuff like that. And something just, I don't know. There's still a need for like in-depth content still.
Mhm.
So something. What'd you say it was called?
Descript, and that's just one of probably 3 dozen.
Okay, yeah. I've
Even
heard of them, I
YouTube,
just
if it's
don't
on your YouTube page, you can get the transcript
read it down.
of it as well.
It's not always
It's not super easy, right? You still got to kind of text, check it and stuff, but
Descript will actually
Definitely
transcribe
check it.
multiple conversations for you too, and it'll
Mhm.
you can actually assign it people and say this is this person, this is this person, this is this person, and it will like write out a conversation for you. It's actually really good. It's not free, but it's really really good.
I use v.io for caption generation, and it'll print out your transcript there, which is really good to take that, put it in ChatGPT, and say, give me a study guide.
Yep.
Boom.
One thing we've done that has actually, I did it because I saw another church do it. I didn't think it would actually benefit. But you can go into your Google Calendar and set up like almost like a Calendly kind of thing where people can book parts of your time. And so we put on our church website, when you go to the About Us section, there's a little button that says Get Coffee with Lee. And then they can just book. So like Wednesday mornings and Friday mornings, I've got that blocked off. And we just say like, give us 24 hours notice so that I know, so I don't plan something on Wednesday morning or Friday morning. But we've had 5 or 6, maybe even more than that in the last 6 months, just say they wanted to go to coffee. And it's mostly like people that they don't know where to start, you know what I mean? So you could even plug that on your socials
Yeah.
and say, you know,
You
there
said
is a
use
way.
Calendly for that?
I use Google,
Oh, just
Google
Google.
Calendar.
Google Calendar.
I honestly don't remember how I set it up, but you can set up a way to where I've got times booked and they could just select an hour,
And they
whatever
put their
works best
name
for
in
them.
or their contact.
Yeah, so like a youth minister or a college minister or an outreach minister, something like that, that would work. Because there are a lot of people that find our websites that they just want to talk to somebody,
Yeah.
you know?
Does that answer your question? Well, yep. Cool. Yes.
If you were to make a list of like a top 3, top 5 things that fall under the category of technology, whether it be like a specific thing like device used for audio or video, or even just a program that you would give to a church to up their technology game to like the next level, to increase what they're trying to get at, what would you say that would be?
I would say Canva. I would get those microphones. I would probably get a tripod for a phone.
Adobe podcast audio as well.
Yeah, that you got to have the Adobe subscription. Depending on the size of your church, that may not be financially
You
feasible.
don't have to have the subscription for just the podcast.
Just for the
page.
podcast. Okay,
You
never
just
mind.
have to have like a login.
There you go.
an
Yeah, a
account.
profile, an account.
You can only do an hour of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, some limitations. So yeah, I would do that. I would start with Canvas free for a church, and then I would get those microphones. That's $300 for 2 microphones that plugs into your phone or a DSLR.
And that was the Rode wireless?
Rode Wireless Pro. And then something to hold your phone. Because if you do that, you can live stream your worship, a Bible study, a podcast, anything. And then you can use Canva to create graphics as well as video snippets. I know that the university here, the campus ministry, I know Kingsley has used Canva to do all of his sermon snippets that he's posted and all the stories. You do that, you have a complete multimedia package for less than probably $400 totals. And you can probably even get away doing it cheap.
Leave it there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's small, it's mobile, it's everything you would need.
Well, and people also forget that Apple sells a $350 iPad, and a brand new iPad for $350 can run Canva and basically a whole lot of other stuff, no problem. And that right there is much cheaper than buying, other than maybe a Chromebook, it's like much cheaper than buying any kind of computer, certainly a Mac.
Everything being cloud-based helps a lot. Good question. Anybody else? Cool. It's 2:22, so rather than jumping into anything else of tremendous substance, I just want to thank you guys for being a part. I know we've had a few other folks coming and going. At one point, I think our biggest crowd was closer to 15, which to me is very encouraging. Folks from different, I didn't anticipate Jeremy Pate being available. He dropped in and shared some of the cool things he's doing. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on in the church. We just kind of got to get better at announcing some of that and connecting. So just thank you. And my hope is that we do this again, if not next year, then sometime soon thereafter. So if you have any input, I will try to send out, I took a list of everybody that was here that I knew. I'll try to send out a brief survey, excuse me, just to get your thoughts. If there's something you think we should add, something we should not do, time-wise, all that stuff for next time around, definitely would appreciate your input.